Welcome back to another edition of Titan Talk. I'm Isaiah Kilgan with us, and we talked about it on our Wednesday show, but we've got Max, aka Innocent Rabbit, here joining us, and we're going to be talking about some matchmaking and ranked. I know, which way do I point? This way, this way. Max is here. What's going on, Max?
This guy. Hey guys, how's it going? It's good to be here. Friend of the show, I think.
Yeah.
Like coming on and chatting. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we were just talking about it kind of on the wait screen, but I feel like a trend of the show has been Max has been cooking in the background, right? And we wanted to make sure we saved a lot of time for questions because we know matchmaking and ranked has been a hot topic in the community over the past couple weeks. So definitely wanted to save a big portion of the show for questions, but we did prep just kind of a single slide to talk about some of the stuff we've been working on in the background.
Do we want to talk about other stuff before we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it first.
Okay,
yeah,
real quick, other stuff. Just a reminder, update still on track to go live on Monday. On Monday, we'll probably go through the full patch notes. We're getting them staged right now. So they'll probably go live before then if you want to read them yourselves, but we'll talk through it on Monday and talk through some of the logic behind everything. I also just want to very quickly hit on some esports stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you haven't followed the Smite 2 esports Twitter, there's been a lot of kind of things that we've announced recently. So tomorrow, this whole weekend, actually, I believe, is going to be Inbound's tournament here in the U.S.
The Bobby tournament.
The Bobby tourney with that Hyra has helped sponsor the prize pool for. So if you want to watch some of the really great kind of pro players competing for cash prizing, that's this weekend. And then also we announced there's going to be a Smite 2 Euros tournament that Nika and Hazer are running. Saw Happen tweet this. I never know how to actually say his name, but the Smite Lovers United tourney signups are open as well, and they
there's like nine tournaments going on. Holy shit!
We can chat about it.
Absolutely. Well, let me bring up the handy dandy laptop, and we can kind of go through the timeline really quick. Max, I will throw it to you. I know you put this together this morning. Just a quick little TLDR, just because you've been cooking, so we just wanted to go through all the changes that have been happening over the past couple months. Yeah,
let's do it. Here's what we have in front of us is a timeline, but right at the top we have two big logos. Okay, Rally Here and Titan Forge, and Rally Here they're a big technical partner of ours. We rely on them for a lot of things, and the kind of core infrastructure of our matchmaking system is one of those things. And the truth is that when we were going through closed beta into open beta, not only were we learning what we wanted to do with our matchmaking system, but we were also learning how to work with our partners on how to make that system. Yeah. So I think that we talked about bringing in specific engineers and people to work on matchmaking at some point during a Titan talk. I'd say maybe December, January. Really what that was, just so like we're all on the same page, was bringing in this really great engineer that we're working really closely with in Rally Here on adding these features into that kind of core matchmaking infrastructure. And what we had as like a base kind of level thing that we can work with and go from there was this system that would take effectively groupings of players together, evaluate them, and then choose to make the match or not make the match. And what we've done, since the closed beta, but especially as we moved into open beta, is find different ways to evaluate whether a match should be made or not be made. And so when we got into open beta 1, the kind of core features of how we chose to make a match or not make a match were based on kind of only like these 3 qualities. The first one is match quality, and match quality is it's kind of a value that's generated based on a skill-based metric and also an experience-based metric. It's a very generalized quality kind of number that you can generate. So from what is possible in a match. And the way that this works is that when a player hits Q, but we started to notice really quickly that metric, which is an established metric, and I don't want to just, there was, like, we can be frank, there was a lot of other stuff going on around this time. And also with that, we were kind of focusing on the new player experience, MPE, and then quality of life stuff are more likely to be match made method Sometimes with matchmaking and ranked stuff, it can feel very
in the TLDR, and it's some exciting stuff for sure.
Yeah, we're in the process of we've chatted with so we have some stuff in the works for that. I'm hopeful that we can talk about it in more detail soon.
Wait, they just
This one's just
mentioned
for
it?
fun. Sometimes with matchmaking and ranked stuff, it can feel very it can feel heavy, it can feel serious. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity also to have fun with it and create fun outlets for players. So we have some stuff in the works for that. I'm hopeful that we can talk about it in more detail soon. Third range of SR, so like at 0 to 4,000 SR.
Holy fuck!
You would
How long do
eventually
they
find a
take
match.
questions for?
For sure, and you probably wouldn't even have to wait that long. You know, if you're in NA or EU, finding players in that range, yeah, super doable. All of those rules, though, get completely thrown out the window the moment you start talking about low player hours and outlier players. So, recently there was a post on Reddit, someone talking about matchmaking. I think I hopped in there and I left a comment about it. And one thing that I didn't want to air out in the post, they were talking about there's these like 2 players who are about 5,000, and they were playing with players who are like 4,000 and 3,000. I think there was one person in gold. They were wondering how that match happened. The players who were in Deity, who were 5,000, or I guess demigod, 5,000 plus SR, they'd each been waiting for about 14 minutes. Not in a party, just individually. And when you look at during that time that they were waiting, I think the 10th player that had got online, because it was really early morning EU, was like mid 3,000s. So even if we had taken the top 10 players that had queued early morning hours in EU, we wouldn't have had a 1,000 range match for that player. So it's really tough. It's really tough to set these hard limits and not, screw over individuals who play at off-peak hours or play as outliers.
I feel like that person kind of should just get fucked.
Here's the skill.
I feel like the alternative is it's not a good match. I don't understand.
The way the current system currently works, I don't even mind being super like transparent with it. Right now we start our search at 600 as a range. And for 3 minutes it stays at 600. We're hoping to get you a match. 600 is the goal, I'd say. Internally, at least that's where kind of I'm at. 600 represents 1 rank. Being within 1 rank would be amazing. And then up until about 8 minutes, I think it expands from 600 to like 1,200 as a range. Maybe it's slightly different now. And then after 8 minutes, it goes up quite fast. It goes up to, I think, 2,400 after 18 minutes or something like that. And the reason for that, as you kind of alluded to, Alex, is that we have found, and we can see, in the data, when people click queue, and we can see when they leave queue, the moment that timer hits 10 minutes, ranked, unranked, especially, ranked is the only players that will wait that long at all. The moment that timer hit 10 minutes, the majority of players are turning it off. They're walking away from the game. They're requeuing because they think something's broken.
Yes.
And when you requeue, it really doesn't help your cause. Which is hard to say as well, because we have had times where we had bugs where people weren't entering queue properly, and requeuing was the right thing, but that's mostly been handled at this point. But we kind of have to find matches before 10 minutes as a general rule before people start to walk away. We don't always do that. I recently, I was chatting on Twitter, and Benny Q, who's like one of our top rated players, had been getting some matches previously that were like 20-something minute waits, and then more recently like in the teens. And often pro players maybe will wait a little bit longer, but a lot of players aren't willing to wait that long. And if we set these hard limits of like 1,000 SR, players are just going to be waiting that long for the majority of the day even.
I feel like that's what, like, if you're gonna get a competitive game, the higher level players all expect that. I mean, isn't that how League and like most other games are at the highest end? You wait, like in League, I could have sworn they were waiting 30 minutes for matches, and that's League of fucking Legends. So shouldn't we expect, if you're at like 5K, to wait for however long it takes to get people at that rating. Like, people under 4K shouldn't be waiting this long. There's no way there aren't enough people to film matches at peak hours. Now, off peak hours, I have no fucking idea. Kind of sucks to play off peak hours.
Like,
You wait that long when trying to snipe queues, yeah, for good matches. Obviously, I can't see the numbers, and he's sharing as much as he can. But, like, I feel like every high-level player, every 5K player, 4,500 plus, 4K plus, should be like, yo, I want the best game possible. I'll wait 15, 20 minutes. If it's going to give me the best game possible. I feel like people get pissed when they wait that long, and then it does this 2,400 gap shit, and you get a terrible match. Then you don't want to play anymore. I swear, everything I'm hearing sounds like you're literally countering matchmaking by having it set up like this. You're ruining the experience, not making it better. Forcing a game isn't make it better in my mind.
Hours last maybe like 8 hours, and then so like the other 16, we're looking at people sitting for a very long time. So it's tough. You know, these are the limitations to matchmaking in a
one game every hour and a half is kind of cooked. Bro, that's for the highest level players in the game. That is how it should be. That's how it is. That's how it literally is for video games. Like, no one wants to play these super gapped out games because people just stop playing. If I queue up and I wait 15 minutes and I get a shit match, I'm not queuing again. If I wait 20 minutes and I get a really good game, I'm definitely queuing again, and I expect the next queue to be much faster because you found that core. That's the other thing that I don't get. I understand there aren't a ton of players, but if you fill a match that shouldn't be filled, then you pull away from the highest level players that are in the queue pool. So then there's less people to make that top end lobby, and that top end lobby ends up never happening. That's kind of what I imagine it as. I think over 4K, you should be solo queue as well. And I don't think you should be able to queue with people that are super gapped out in rating. You should have to be within 600 rating of another player to queue with them. It fucks with it too much. I've told them this, by the way, and I think they agree, but they're trying to find like the perfect numbers instead of just throwing out bullshit.
I don't want to call this like a low player population game, but with everything that gets split up and stuff like that, the ranked queue in Smite isn't a high player population game. And we have to
also, like, on that topic, there's no incentive to play ranked if the matches aren't good. First of all, that's like the starting point. But then we have no real rewards. There's no I don't get anything special that I want to show off for being a top player and playing ranked. So like, why are people supposed to play ranked? What incentivizes people to play ranked? There's no esports scene. There's no, proving yourself to go pro. What's the reason to play ranked now? They don't have the tech to have SR limits on parties at the moment. That's crazy. So then there shouldn't be parties. Or we know that they can cut off parties, right? Or can they not? Can they not make it so it's solo queue? Because just make it 3K solo queue if you can't fuck with parties. Then you're never gonna have that problem.
Make certain trade-offs, and it's all an ongoing process. So we're learning. We're trying to figure out the best ways to do things, and yeah, but that's the main reason why we can't hard cap for sure every game forever.
Yeah, and I think that's that's one of the reasons why the old countdown system, right, was like, at least you trust that we have made you the best possible match with the people that were in the queue at that point in time, and you know how long you're going to be waiting, which is one of the benefits of the old system. I think, but the new system, just from like the statistics that we've got, usually leads to most people getting better matches in terms of like the way that we rate them, right?
And faster matches.
And faster,
like
yeah.
The truth is, I know that we're talking about these very high wait time matches. I pulled this earlier. I came ready with wait time stats. So we're talking wait times. It's great. The median wait time for ranked right now is 2 minutes. The most average you're going to get is about 2 minutes. I think something like around 50% of matches happen before 2 minutes. 90%.
So I just want to see something, because I haven't been playing ranked because I hated the experience like a month ago. So this is the number one ranked player in the game right now, or in leaderboard, Donut Doug. Like, I don't think a match like this should happen. I just, like, this guy shouldn't even be in this game. A match like this shouldn't start. It should just wait to fill. Also, could it possibly be, I'm going to throw this out there, because could it possibly be that there was a rating problem to begin with, and he was getting too much rating, so now his rating is really boosted up, and it should be way lower? Because he was winning 70 fucking rating a game against bronze players before. So maybe rating should be reset once, like, you know, as soon as possible to fucking figure out what's going on here. Like, this game looks a little better in some ways, not in others. This game looks like it was kind of competitive. Like, the damage numbers are all pretty solid. Like, of course, these guys got clapped, but I mean, they all had high deaths too. What up, Queso TV? Thank you for the 7 months, Prometheus. Thank you for the 61. Axe, thank you for the resub. Oh, that was the game I just looked at, right? Yeah, like, these games look solid to me. I mean, there's an outlier, but they're queued together, so this guy's actually 4,500. Yeah, like, I like the way these games look so much more. I just don't think this gold matches should even start. These games all look... Wait. These games all look infinitely better than they used to. Infinitely. So who's the other person that's complaining? Benny. How do Benny's games look? Am I blind? Yeah, this is... He queues in the middle of the night. What do his games look like? This is a... Like, here's your outlier. But he didn't even do bad. That's not even an outlier. Like, this game is fairly balanced. I mean, in reality, I feel like you probably should have had your... I think that one of the issues is it doesn't separate these guys being higher than 5,000. And it should, even though it'd be harder to find a match. Maybe once the game is created, they balance it more evenly. Like, this is crazy. You're telling me they couldn't wait 5 more minutes to not have a gold player? They don't have post-match balancing. You mean like once it's created? You know Smite 1 has nobody working on it, right, Queso? The game just exists. There's just servers. Nobody's working on it. There isn't a final pass. So they like grab everybody, just split them up, and as long as the numbers are within the rule set, it's fine, even though it's not optimized. So it's like, this is within 1,000. We could have made the game within 400, but we don't have the capability of doing that. That is fucking insane. That is fucking insane. That's not that. Why even have ranked? The processing time for the final pass that should be instant. It's numbers. That should be 0.1 seconds. That should be a fucking calculator should be able to do that. Have the processing power for that. What? They plan on implementing it soon? We can't. Soon doesn't matter, bro. Soon has passed. The game is losing players because of ranked, not because of the game, not because of the core part of the game. There's nothing to fucking play for. There's no progression right now. That is a simple thing that should have been in the game months ago. Shouldn't even have been a ranked queue if that didn't exist. So it's half of a rank system, essentially. That's mind-boggling that there's no final pass. That's actually crazy. A lot of these games do look a lot better though. Like once again, another shitter game, but the games overall look a lot better. I mean, I can see from looking through the games that whatever they're doing is working. It's just wild to me that there's no final pass because a lot of these games are a little too gapped out. Like, you'll have the 2 people that are like almost 7K rating, and then the other team will have the gold player when you should have flip-flopped. But I mean, the fact that there's no final pass is insane. It is nice though to look into these and like, you know, I mean, granted, this is a big gap, but remember, they see this as 5K apparently. So this is a 1,700 gap, basically, which is a lot, but depending on when the time of day is, yeah, this is 1:30 in the morning. That's pretty good. I don't have one, Guac. Like, I genuinely don't have a favorite jungler. Seeing this, though, makes me want to play ranked. Like, seeing that at least this is better makes it look like ranked is doing infinitely better than it was when I stopped playing. I mean, obviously, if you get this guy, you're kind of like, what the fuck, but... What's the final pass thing? So apparently, I didn't hear this yet. Apparently, they talked about it in this VOD. Essentially, it pulls all of these players, right? And when it pulls these players, there's a rule that the teams have to be within X amount of rating based on how long they've been in the queue. So if it's a 15-minute queue, they have to be within 2,400 rating, like the teams, the total values of the teams. So once it pulls everybody, it's still following that rule set. And it doesn't optimize the teams and make them as close as possible in rating. It just throws together a team that's within that 2,400 rule set. So you could have 10 players that you could make 2 teams that are like 500 apart, but because they don't have that built in, it just takes the players and throws them randomly, and you get whatever gap you get, from what I'm understanding. Yeah, no final pass means you could literally have like the higher rated players on one team, even though you could make it far more balanced. Now, it seems like a lot of these are decent. Like, this is a decent game rating wise. I mean, you've got two 2,700 players. You've got a 38, a 39. Both of these are considered 5Ks, so you have the two 5Ks. Like, this is a fair for 1:30 in the morning. That's a decent like gap difference. Now, this is where like I just don't understand. This is 3 in the morning, and that's probably why. There literally might not have been somebody at 3K rating, but are we sure that waiting a few more minutes that person doesn't come in is what I'm saying. You were in queue for 5 minutes in this game right here. Oh shit. I mean, you had the 7K player. You had the 7K player. In reality, this is, I mean, what are the numbers here? Hold on. You got 94. What do we have here? Like fucking another 90. Wait, is this 90? Another 94. So you got like 19K between this. So like 22,000. And then you've got 10-3. You've got like 69, right? Oh gosh. Yeah. So like this is off by like a lot. This is off by like 2,000 ish, 2,400, whatever, right? So, well, no, it's not, because this guy's considered 3,200 because of this guy. This guy's considered 5K because of this guy, actually. All right. So yeah, in reality, this dude should have been swapped for this dude, and that should have been how the game started. That's a final pass probably would have flipped these two players, and you would have had a more balanced game. Duos are average, not maxed. Wait, brother, Max, then you can't have duo queuing, bro. You can't. There's no way. If you have that, then if I queue with a shitter, I just get free games, and it fucks up your whole system. I realize they probably haven't built whatever you need to do that shit. Oh, it's not 100% average? Okay. I mean, weren't you doing where it was the max, like the higher rated player was whatever, like if, was that only in threes? Or like if, was it at one point, if two people queued, like these two queued, they're both 5. Oh, it was like that. I think that I mean, there's double-edged side there. There's a shitty side where that shittier player is rated high as fuck in his ass. So yeah, with a final pass though, like even without that, you probably would just flip these two. And then to be fair, you said this match was shit, Edgewing. That would have probably made the game a lot more even, because this is like your worst player would have got flipped with like their middle tier player. But outside of that, I mean, a lot of these games look a hell of a lot better. Like just glancing at this is infinitely better. And then this dude's queued with this dude. This is infinitely better. Like 90% of these games are, even the auto speed queues are better. Donut, you're using DXR with stream. What are you saying, brother? Was that English? Yeah, I think whenever, I don't know what else is going on. I think if this is all solo queues outside of like that, like these people being averaged out, the games are a whole lot better. I also think, I don't know if you fucked with this at all. I think like players at the top were gaining too much SR. I think their SR gains were infinitely too high against bad games. So whenever you fucking reset, this won't happen. It won't be as bad. I think it'll be less significant where these people have 7K fucking SR right now. All right, play it away. You're trolling. No. Yeah, I understand, Rabbit. I mean, like I was just saying before you even in here that the games look a lot better, but then learning like there's no final pass and stuff. Obviously, that's not you, but that's crazy to try to balance a game. Like it makes so much more sense why when there's an outlier, the game isn't actually balanced towards the higher rated player having that outlier on their team, and it's just thrown in. But like a lot of these just look better, way better than when I was playing like a month ago. Infinitely better. Let me see. So in a game like this is a full match. What causes him to get 24 rating from a game like this? Let me see. Is he queued with the same dude? Yeah, like how come he got 24 rating this game and then he got 54 rating this game with like DDD, M3, O2, M2? Right, oops, wrong one. Is it just because there's Diamond players brought it down that much? I don't think game length affects rating gains, right? Because that would be troll as fuck. You thought the match? Okay, so it just assumed it was lopsided. Yeah, I actually think with the way this looks now, whenever we have a hard reset, by the way, please for the love of God, just hard reset. Don't do these soft shit once you figure out the system. Please for the love of God. You need a hard reset. You need everyone to feel like they're starting even, because a lot of people from the feedback I get won't even play rank because they think they're stuck because of the system. So you got to play that mind game for the hard reset. Like, you know, even if on your end you're like, this doesn't matter, people think it matters. I'm not even talking about for the higher end players. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to hard reset randomly now. I'm talking about like once you figure all your shit out. Because the feedback I get a lot of is people are not playing because their games are uneven and they can't carry because now they're stuck. Even though we all know how that fucking the reality of that. Bro, what is this dude? I don't even know what that guy is dropping in here, boys. All right.
Percent of matches happen before 6 minutes in ranked, and in casuals. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna pull up
Let's
my.
do
my
it live,
stats so I don't
Max.
forget it. I'm doing it live, guys. Where is it now? In ranked. Wait times. There we go. Yeah. So in ranked, we have 90% of matches, 92% of matches happening before 6 minutes, and 99.16% of matches happening before 10 minutes right now. In casuals, we have 91% of matches happening before, I guess, 3.5 minutes. And 99% of matches happening 5 minutes. That's casual conquest. And then arena, 97% of matches are popping. Like,
Yeah.
the truth is, I know.
Later, Max. Have a good night, dude. That guy linked Smite cheats. Do people realize that when it's that accessible, we could just send that to people and then now they can reverse engineer and just auto catch that shit? Like, that's okay.
So we're talking 92% of matches happening before 6 minutes. And,
Yeah. It's a
and
tough
that's
balancing.
I want to hear the part where they talk
long-term
about
players
this other
better
stuff.
than playing with a group of friends.
The vast majority of players getting into a match and having that affirmation that like, hey, there are games going, I can get into the game, I can play.
I constantly get new players in my game. Super fair question. It works based on was finding ways to like match up veterans with new players in a party. That one is a lot.
Yeah, maybe are just toxic in nature, and it goes for we're okay in Smite 1 really weren't always okay. And the new filter is not just a profanity filter. It also takes into account things that maybe are just toxic in nature, and it goes further in that way than the old one did.
They are still gonna eventually add that role adjusted elo. I think that's like the last thing that matters, though. I'm gonna be honest. I think they have to have the base shit perfected before they can even start implementing any version of that role adjusted shit.
You can say, you know, we're all adults, we should be able to swear at each other or whatever.
Am I playing in or streaming the tourney this weekend? No. The tourney stuff, I was very optimistic about at first, but I don't think the formats are valuable. We're like pretending it's an esport, but an esport is a team. The draft stuff is like all-star weekend at like in the NBA. People like it's cool and you'll talk about it a little, but you ain't watching the whole fucking thing. You're gonna watch the highlights. I think they messed up by not making it, you know, esport like sign up with your teams. We're gonna take the best teams. They're gonna compete for a lot of money.
And I think that's
It's too
a fair
casual.
argument. But what we have seen consistently is that most people playing the game don't want to be sweared at, right? Like they have been at work all day or at school all day long, but like most of the things that trigger it are more.
Let's go. Someone else asked about SR decay, people who've not played, ratings for players, and I think that feature is getting built out like currently on the back end, which is really exciting. Top of the show talked about Rally here and building out different features. I believe, I don't want to hold anyone on that end to anything too specific, but what requires for that to be integrated is this ability to have like a profile of ratings for players, and I think that feature is getting built out like currently on the back end, which is really exciting. Yeah, we're looking forward to being able to do that. One of the big things that we notice is matches that, you know, overall seem good and fair and the range is good. We're still getting that classic thing that we've talked about for a while, I'd say, which is you're in solo lane and the best player on one team is against the worst player on the other team, and it's like, well, even if this match is balanced, it's kind of unbalanced because of things to do with the MOBA. So still work required to get it done.
That's what I was just mentioning. That system is like like a dream system. If they somehow eventually a year from now get that shit implemented, I would be mind blown. That nobody does that. That doesn't exist in games. So if they make it work, I'd
Work
be
in
mind
progress,
blown.
which is cool to be able to say.
Awesome.
So like 3 weeks from right now, or like 2.5 weeks from now.
We're slowing down on matchmaking questions.
Yeah.
So maybe we should take a couple other questions
Yeah,
for a
let's
few
do
minutes. Anything that's jumped out at you, Isaiah?
Let's see.
Now, so there's a chance that does get delayed, but in Smite 1 world, it was by the end of the season. The truth is, to make that happen, a lot of both kind of front end UI work would have to happen. A lot of
The fuck?
Consoles do have to.
Where do they talk
it's
about
expanding the range, and you're taking 10 and you're leaving 5 behind.
the competitive shit?
Planned for Joust. If it's exactly ranked Joust, talking about all. Honest answer is that ranked Joust as like ranked Joust, separate queue, is in a way a tough sell when the player base is what it is.
Okay, so have they ever talked about like why not just have only ranked Joust and only ranked duel? Like if you're a super casual, you're not gonna play against good players anyway, right? So why not just have one?
A medium Smite 2 sized player base, right? However, we keep talking about alternate competitive formats. I think stuff like that is a really cool way to give Joust players a competitive outlet that isn't something that is going to permanently split the player base. So there are competitive outlets planned for Joust. If it's exactly ranked Joust, at least right now, we're going to try different things first, see if it kind of scratches the competitive itch.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I'm hoping it scratches a higher competitive itch and is even cooler. But this lets us keep the player base together.
See,
and
if they
also-
run in-game tournaments, like a tournament queue, or I don't even know how that would work. That would be interesting because you'd make people go from other game modes to play some Joust for a while.
So, yeah, do competitive Joust stuff. So competitive Joust, I think it's
So
cool.
they have players who don't want to deal with ranked at all, and incentives to bring casuals in a ranked backfire both sides. So like, why not just leave it called Joust, but have a leaderboard and bans? And that way, unless you care, you just start checking the leaderboards.
Splitting the queue, kind of
Yep.
hard.
Yeah, especially because like normal Joust is just such a more popular mode in Smite 1, right? Like there are people that play ranked Joust, but it's a very small percentage of the total matches.
In the meantime, sign up for Christy Dixon's Joust Cash Cup. Yeah.
Play some competitive. There's a question about how you're going to get refer a friend rewards. We aren't that.
Unless you do it perfectly, is really bad for the game, because there are some people who have different play styles that lead to wins than others. And if we do anything to incentivize one play style over another, we have the chance of really damaging.
This is the people who are like, if I have a good game, I shouldn't lose as much rating. Can't do that. Team-based
Smite
game can't do
just
that.
via incentivizing the wrong things. You're incentivizing gold earn, right? Let's say the game's like slightly lost. Now all your players are just farming permanently until the game ends, so that their gold at the end of the game is high as possible. So it'd have to be done basically perfectly. That being said, it's something that let's say isn't out of the realm of possibility, right? Looking at
It's unlikely. There's no way.
is something that's in progress.
All right. Well, we are nearing the end of the show. We're at 1:57, so let's go ahead and kick off one more question. Max, come on, man. We prepped this before.
You guys were so in sync. It like harmonized in my ear.
It's great.
You to join me.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. We'll coordinate next time.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
next
coordinate
time.
for sure. We'll get you on board.
We missed the Alani check. Nobody asked for an Alani check this time. We'll do that in doesn't count as one more question.
Not one more question.
You know that Alani knew, I think it's only been around for like 7 years. They just sold to Celsius for $1.4 billion. Anyone want to make an energy drink? Anyone got the
pink slush.
And I
infrastructure?
have Orange Kiss. Max made coffee. He is not on the Alani train, you know?
Yep, coffee all day now,
It's
boys.
finished.
Yeah, it's gone.
Delicious. We must be practicing that on our own time. We've just done enough episodes of this now
Right?
that we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, my wife likes that the Alani.
Here. Wait for chat. to
I'm
fill
not a
up
big
here.
carbonated guy, so I don't
will
fuck with those
say,
kind of drinks.
I will answer this one just like with less of a direct answer, but with an answer. Worshippers leaderboard ever been a consideration? We are
I
doing
will
the
invest.
work right now to be able to support more leaderboards in the back end. And Max actually might have more details on that, but we do have an intent to support more than just our current leaderboard and open it up. I don't know if Worshipper leaderboard is going to be the first thing that we add, but Yeah, Max is sorry, you're nodding. Do you want to jump in?
I can jump in, yeah. Right now, leaderboards are basically manually done, and the only thing that we use it for is ranked, and that's why I think that it's kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside as far as how much it's used in client, because we have tracker that shows a live leaderboard, and that's awesome. It's an awesome resource that we have for players. Building out our actual live leaderboards and the way that we've been designing it on the back end, so huge, and it really should let us do leaderboards for about anything. So we should have the technical capability to do a lot of different leaderboards. It will take time to, build out actually the front end, how to display that. But very exciting. I'm glad it got mentioned during the talk. There's a lot of possibilities for what we can do when we can order players. It just leads to so many more things than just leaderboards. There's just so many cool things we can do with it.
Cool. I'm going to answer or take two quick questions and throw to you, Max, because you probably have the better answer than me. But just revolving around rank bans, one is, have you been thinking about adding more bans? And then the second one is, have you seen the Marvel Rivals ban system? And is that something that we've been taking a look at?
He's like, what the fuck is Marvel Rivals?
Sure. More ranked bans. I think it's always going to be God pool dependent. We expanded to 2 per team in OB1. I think there's a chance that we expand to 3, but there's a good chance the next time we do a ban update,
that's like 80 gods,
is about the time that it would make sense to start looking back to the faster ban system of like everyone gets 1 ban, because that would really only end up with banning like between 5 to 8
I forgot about them doing that.
Anyways,
I like that system because it sped up your fucking queue times. Like
really
waiting
OP
for the
god.
match to start took too long.
So once we get to 6 total gods banned is about when we have to start considering whether to, instead of doing that, set aside some time to re-implement ban system. And actually, I've never played Marvel Rivals. It's a bad industry research on my end.
No worries.
But
basically,
I don't know the ban
I'm not sure if you've checked it out, but I'm pretty sure the way that
It's
the
just
Marvel
a team vote. I think.
it's a team vote.
Yeah. So it's like
Smite one has like 135 gods or something, 133. I think
is the person who's banned.
Okay.
But
it's just 1 ban.
I think it's just 1 ban per team right now. I might be wrong, but
it's 2.
I mean, a team vote makes sense. I can even think of ways to make that
we have 2. What the fuck?
even more interesting. Not to say there's isn't interesting, but if you do team vote, get multiple votes and get multiple.
Smite 2 has, what are we at? Are we at 55, 60 gods, whatever the fuck we're at? The aspects, in a way, make a god 2 gods. So you kind of have to look at things a little different. It's not the same concept.
Bans.
Yeah, we got a lot of different options because the Smite 1 system
So many
currently is
options.
everyone chooses a god and then all the gods get banned.
Team votes
Both
for
teams
bans?
could choose the same.
I don't know what it would look like with Smite. I kind of like the ban system they put in though, where it's like everyone just gets to throw their ban out. If it doubles up both teams, too bad. It's faster.
Same god. If
I feel like you would say,
like
I bet you we see that come in at like fucking 80 to 100 gods.
You wanted at the end of each round, and then it did like the roulette through everybody's choices, and it's like, okay, if 3 people voted for this thing, it's got a 3 in 5 chance or whatever. So it was fun.
That's very fun.
All right, where do they talk about this other shit?
Yeah, I have. I'll do. The only one that I've seen right now is. I lost it.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, no, it was about toxic queue. It was about toxic queue. Is the player base too low to have a toxic queue? Yeah, I think the making a toxic queue would basically be, banishing them to damnation of infinite queue times, which is maybe not that bad if someone's toxic enough, but that is just called giving them a suspension.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not the most. I'm involved with toxicity stuff. I'm not like the most involved with toxicity stuff, but I think that's another area that we want to continue to.
Us for the Friday show, chat. Thanks for hanging.
Be around while
Players were probably.
Wait, where did they talk
Player
about?
base is what it is.
Anyone know where they talk about that system or whatever they're gonna do? This he tweeted new competitive formats, and I don't think they really covered it. I think they just mentioned it for a second.